Hello, class 9 children. Welcome back to my online class. This is Yogesh sir, who is teaching you English literature in today's class. Let us go back to what we had done in our last online class. We started with The Merchant of Venice, written by William Shakespeare. It is a romantic comedy, right? And we saw the beginning of the play, Act 1, Scene 1, and got introduced to Antonio, Salanio, and Bassanio, right? And we also talked about Lorenzo and Graciano, who are all friends in the play, right? And towards the end, we saw Bassanio came to meet Antonio with a hope to ask more loans from him, right? Because he tells Antonio that he uh, wants to go to Belmont, and like all other suitors, uh, were trying hard to win Portia and marry her, right? Here, Bassanio is also with the same intention, right? But the thing is that he has no resource, he has no money to go to Belmont, and for that purpose, he has come to his best friend Antonio to seek uh, the financial help, right? But we notice here that Antonio is already invested the whole lot of his money in his business. So at this present juncture, he has no money with him, and he suggested his friend Pisani to go to the Venetian market and then try any of the moneylender, right? Uh, Asking the loan which would take him to Belmont, and Antonio would be the guarantor on his behalf, right? And we saw the scene ended. Okay, so today we'll see Act 1, Scene 2, right? And we will see here Portia, right? Who is the heroine of the play, The Merchant of Venice. And Portia's role is extremely very important in the play, right? She is a female character, and many of the plays written by William Shakespeare, the female characters are very limited, and they are very important, right? To whatever character they are in. And coming back to talk to Portia, she is the heiress of Belmont, right? Heiress means uh, the person who is entitled to own the inheritance, the property of his or her, I mean, okay, rather here her, uh, the parents, right? So after the death of the parents, the entire property is inherited by the children, right? So here, Portia is the heiress of Belmont. She is a very rich lady, young and beautiful, right? And like Antonio, who was seen melancholic in the opening of the scene, Portia is also melancholic in the scene. But we know the reason why she is melancholic, why she is sad, right? Because he tells the reason of her sadness with Nerisha, right? Nerisha is her servant come friend, right? Maximum of the time, Nerisha is always there with Portia in the play, right? And see here, before let me begin with Act 1, Scene 2. Just to give you a background, Portia's father had made a will, right? In his will, there was a lottery. Will is a testament, right? A testament is a written statement just before a person dies, okay? And in the testament or in the will, uh, the father, the head of the family, writes about the division of property among his children, right? So this is a legal document, right? And the law will have to obey to whatever is said, and accordingly the property of the father will be distributed among the children as it is written in the document, or in the will, or in the testament, right? So Portia's father had also written a will before he died, right? It was a lottery. And according to this lottery, right, he had three caskets. Right, caskets are the boxes. They are the chest. They are the boxes. Right. Uh, they were, one box was made of gold, the other box was made of silver, and the third box was made of lead. Right. And the father wanted uh, that his daughter Portia would get married to the man who would select the right casket. Right. Uh, in the casket, the suitor, the one who is willing to get married to Portia, will have to come and then select that casket which contained the portrait of, image of, or a picture of, or a photograph of, right, Portia. Right. So whoever selects the right casket which contains the portrait of Portia will be a winner, right, of this lottery, and thereby he would be the husband of Portia, right. So that was a will made by her father before he died, and after that, okay, the father died. Now Portia is all alone, right, living in the mansion, a large house, right. It is a bungalow, right, in Belmont, and she's here accompanied, right, in a living by the um, you can say manifold servants, many servants, okay, in the house, or many attendants in the house, and out of which Teresa is very close to her, right. So that is the background of the scene, act 1 scene 2, right, and as far as Portia is concerned. So if you are clear with this, let us now come back to see the scene. What does it say? Okay, so remember, Antonio in the opening scene was very sad, right? There we did not know what was the actual reason of Antonio's sadness, right? Uh, though here Saladino and Saladino pointed out there are possible reasons of, okay, Antonio's sadness, but we were not confirmed what made Antonio so sad, right? But here Portia, who is also sad in the opening of the scene, Act 1, Scene 2, we at least come to know what is the reason of her sadness, right? Now, this is what she's, sharing with her servant come friend Narissa in the opening of the scene, Act 1, Scene 2, right? So here we go. Now, in Act 1, Scene 2, we are in Belmont. Okay, so I told you that in two places the play setting is done, right. In the earlier scene we were in Venice, right. Now we have come to Belmont. Okay, so we are in a room in Portia's magnificent house, right. We are in one of the rooms in Portia's magnificent house, right. Portia had a large house, right, and the scene takes place in one of the rooms of her house. Enter Portia and Nerissa. And who is Nerissa? We already come to know. Nerissa is the servant come friend of Portia. She is an attending woman. She is an attending lady, right, of Portia. Now see, Portia says, by my throat, Nerissa, my little bodies are weary of this great world. Right, so Portia is sharing her personal feelings with Nerissa. She says, by my throat, that means by my faith, Nerissa, right, oh my dear Nerissa, right, my little body is tired of this world. Weary means tired, right? She is very tired of this world, right, living her life. Because so far what she had lived, right? But what is her future is very unknown to her, right? And she is very much worried regarding her future, right? After all, she is a lady, and lady will have to get married to someone one day in her life, right? Now, who such husband would come in her life, right? That is the biggest worry for Portia. So this is what here Portia is sharing with Nerissa. Okay, so I am very tired of this world, she says. Okay, Nerissa says, you would be sweet, ma'am, right? Then Nerissa says, you would be tired, oh my dear ma'am, right? If your miseries were in the same abundance as your good fortunes are, right? So if your miseries, that means if your worries are plentiful as your fortunes are, right? So if your right future is plentiful, right? Okay, your worries will also be plentiful as your fortunes are. Okay, right? And yet for art means anything, and yet for anything I see, they are as sick that are fit with too much as they that starve with nothing. right? As sick, that's surfeit. Surfeit means overfed, right? That is too much given, right? With too much, okay, as that is starved, with, okay, having nothing, right? So, right, one person is very rich on one hand, the other person is pauper, right? Very poor at one hand. Okay, so look at the two person. One who is, okay, having a lot of things, he is worried, right? Because he has plenty of things, and the other has, okay, nothing, right? He is also worried, right? Because he has nothing. There is none. Okay, so if you are very rich or if you are very poor, right? There are worries in the person. Okay, right? Then see, it is no mean happiness, therefore. That's why there is, okay, not a single or a small amount of happiness in that person, one who has plenty of things, right? Because he has more worries. Okay, to be seated in the mean, right? Superfluity comes sooner with by white hairs. And look at here what problems would arise if you are very rich, right? So superfluity comes. That means superfluity means having too much, right? When you have too much, right, that means you will have, okay, more worries, right? Because you have to think for this, you have to think for that. So everything, okay, needed your thoughts, right? And so you'll have, okay, white hairs very soon. White hairs means you'll grow in your age, right, more than what your original age is. Okay, you'll have white hairs, right? uh, uh, okay, in your, okay, clear head sooner than, right, it should come. Okay, because of the worries. Okay, but competency lives longer. But competency means those who have just enough, right? Those who have just enough, right? Not much or not less. Those who have just enough. Yes, this is what I want, right? And this will help me, this will work with me. If you have that much, right, you will live long and you will be happier a person, right? That's what here Nerissa says to uh, Portia, right? And we know why. Okay, here Nerissa said this to Portia because Portia is a very very rich lady, right? She is, okay, uh, right? The heiress of, okay, the heiress of, okay, the of Belmont, right? She is a very very rich lady, right? She has, okay, everything, right, what she needs, right? That's why here Narisha says to Portia that when a person has more than what is sufficient, right, you are a tired person to live your life. You are very much worried of your own life. So when you are worried so much, you will have, okay, white hair right now, coming earlier than what it should, right? And you will have wrinkled face, you will have lots of, okay, clear diseases, right, attacked, okay, you, right? And very soon, right, because of all the diseases surrounding you, you will lose your life, right, earlier than what you should, right? Whereas if a person is competent, means when he has, okay, just enough what is needed for his life, right, he is, right, a happier person to live his life and he would live long, right? That's what here Nerissa says. Okay, right? Then Portia says, good sentences and well pronounced. So hearing this, Portia, okay, applauds, right? Portia compliments Nerissa saying that, right, good sentences. You have spoken very good sentences, right? And well pronounced. You have spoken very well, right? So I am very happy with you, Portia says to Nerissa. Then Nerissa says, they would be better if well followed, right? Then Nerissa says, my words, my sentences would be better if you obey them, if you follow them, right? So just by listening is not enough, right? What I told you just now, you need to follow also, right? That's why, okay, here Nerissa says, right, my sentences would prove better, right, if you follow them. Okay, then Portia says, if to do were as easy as to know what were good to do, chapels had been churches, right? So if to do, that means if to act, right, whereas easy as to know what were good to do, right? So chapels had been churches. So churches, you will call churches only. You will have no other names, right? Because to a church, you cannot say it's a movie hall, right? It's not a club, right? It's a church where you go and pray, right? And poor men's cottages, princesses' palaces, right? And a poor man who lives in a hut, right, would even be a royal palace for him if he is happy out there in his life, right? So that very hut, that very shanty can also be a royal palace for him because he is happily living out there. Okay, so it is a good divine that follows his instructions. So he is a good preacher, right? He is a good person, he is a good preacher if he follows, okay, his instructions, right? So a person who is a preacher, one who preaches others to be good, right, he needed to be good himself first, right? So he has to follow the good instructions of living his own life at first. Then only others will follow you, right? Then see, I can easier teach 20 what were good to be done than one of the 20 to follow mine own teaching, right? So I can teach 20 people at a time, right? Right, but I'm not sure whether 20 people are following me, what I'm telling. Yes or no? So it depends on person to person. Right, then see. The brain may devise law, so the mind, right, makes laws. Right? Laws means here rules. It is the mind that makes rules. Right? For the blood, and it is applied to the mind. Right? The mind makes the laws, the mind makes the rules to be applied to the mind only. Yes or no? Right? So you need to follow them. But a hot temper lives over a cold degree. But a hot temper, meaning clear, the heat of desire disobeys, right, such cold laws, right? But the heat of desire, because you want it, right, and in your want, you follow, you disobey the rules, you disobey the laws, right? And see, such a hair is madness the youth. Likewise, the young people are, right? The young people are hot-blooded, right? So they don't mind following the rules and regulations. Okay, to skip over the messes of good counsels. That's why they don't want to, right, follow the advice. Counsel means advice, right, which is given by the seniors, okay, to these to the youngsters, okay, the cripple. But this reasoning is not in the fashion to choose me husband. But this reasoning, that means, but this wise talk right now is not the fashion, is not likely to be applicable or to choose me a husband, right? But as far as my worries are concerned, right, it is right dependent on who is going to be my husband in my life, right? That is the biggest cause of worry, she said. Okay, oh dear. And she feels pity on herself and says, oh me, right, right, oh dear me, what would be my life, right? Portia says, the word choose, right, I may neither choose whom I would, right? The word choose is the biggest problem in my life, right? Because I may not be able to choose, right, to be my husband in my life, right? Nor refuse whom I dislike, right? And I can't even refuse to get married to a person whom I dislike, right? So, because okay, my life is completely dependent on lottery, right? So is the will of a living daughter crubbed by the will of a dead father. Crubbed here means here um, like destined by my father, because my life is completely destined to what my father has made, right? So according to what my father has made, so my life will, right, take a shape. Okay, so see, if it is it not hard? So she says, right, oh narration, right, is it not unfair about my life, right? Okay, because like me, of my age, right, the young ladies in the world, right, they get married, to the man whom they like to get married, right, whom they want to get married with, right, because that liberty is there with them, that freedom is there, right, the freedom of choice is there with the young lady, right? If she likes, she may say yes to her parents, and if she may not like, she may say no to her parents, right? And according to the choice, the marriage of the daughter may be, right, fixed, right? But as far as my life is concerned, right, here Portia says that I cannot choose one nor refuse none, right? So I cannot choose any man of whom I like to get married to, right? And if any person who chooses the right casket, right, I'll have to get married with the man. I cannot say no, right? So this is what, right, has made my life very much worried, right? Here Portia says to Nerissa. So you understood what was the reason of Portia's sadness, right? Portia is sad because, right, she is unknown of her future, right? Who is going to be the husband in her life, right? Because it is a matter of selecting the casket, right? Any good man may choose the right casket, right? Or any worse man can also be, right, lucky to win the lottery, right? So if he is a good man, then there is no worry, right? Because the good man will look after, right, Portia very well, right, in the rest of her life, right? But if the worst man, right now here, comes and selects the right casket and becomes the husband of Portia, then her life is finished, her life is gone, right? She would not be happy at all, right, to leave her rest part of her life, right? So for that cause here, Portia is very much worried. Okay, now what did Nerissa say to make her understand? Right, this is not what you think. Right, now what did Nerissa say? See, your father was ever virtuous. So she tries to console her man. Right, console Portia. She says what? Your father was ever virtuous. That means your father has always been a good man. Your father was always a good man, right? And holy man. And beside that, he was also, right, a holy man who, right, worshipped God, right, and was frightened of God, okay, and that have good inspirations. So many uh, fathers in the world should take inspiration from your father. Narisha says, okay, so she says, okay, Portia, my dear ma'am, your father happens to be a very, very good man, right, and also a holy man, okay, a very God-fearing man, isn't it, right? And like your father, many fathers in the world should be inspired, right, to what your father has done. Okay, therefore the lottery, right, what is lottery, I said, right, lottery, right, contains, lot is the will, is the will of the father, right, the reason that the father has made, right, which contain three caskets, gold, silver and lead, right, in which contain uh, Portia's portrait, right, and the one, the suitor who chooses the right casket that contain Portia's portrait is the winner of Portia, right, to be his wife, right. Then see, so that he had devised in this three chests of gold, silver and lead, right, so that your father has planned, devised, schemed, right, in these three, right, boxes of gold, silver and lead, okay, whereof who chooses his meaning, chooses you, right? So whoever chooses this has a meaning, right? Whoever chooses the right casket has a meaning of choosing it. So see, will no doubt never be chosen by any rightly, but one who shall rightly love. So the person, right, who chooses the right casket would definitely be the person who will love you the most, right? Any person who has no love, right, in his heart for you, right, will not be able to choose that casket, right. So Nerissa tries to make her mistress understand, right, that the person, whoever he may be, and chooses the right casket, right, among the three, right, would no doubt, right, be a lover of yours, right, would love you so much, okay. But what warmth is there in your affection towards any of these princely suitors that are already come, right? But Nerissa knows that some suitors have already come to Belmont to try their luck to win Portia, right? So she asked her mistress, right now, ma'am Portia, right? What about your feelings? What about your thoughts on those, right, prince-like persons who have come from different parts of the world, right, to Belmont, right, to try their luck, right? Here, Lucanisa said. So it means that some suitors have already arrived at Belmont, right, to try their luck, okay, to be the husband of Portia, because they have already come to know who Portia is, right, and how is she, okay, and to win her, these youngsters, these young people have already come, traveling far and wide, right, from the corners of the world, okay. So Nerissa asked the personal opinion of Portia, right, oh ma'am, right, what is your affection, what is your feelings, right, regarding these suitors who have already arrived in Belmont, right. Now what did Portia say? Portia says, I pray thee, overname them. So I request you to tell their names one by one. Right, Portia says. So I request you, Nerissa, to name these suitors one by one. Okay? And as thou namest them, I will describe them. And according to my description, level at my affection. Right? And as you name them one by one, right, I'll describe, okay, them one by one. Who they are, how they are, right? And according to my description, right, guess at my feelings, right, level at my affection, that means you guess my feelings, right, towards them, you can understand very easily, okay. That's what here Portia said, okay. Now Nerissa names the first one, right. Now what did Nerissa say? First, there is the Neapolitan prince, okay. So Nerissa says, first of all, right, now there is a person who has come from Naples, right. It's not Nepal, right, it's Naples, right. That's none. Naples. The spelling, you see. Many of you may write wrong spelling and you may write Nepal, right? But it is Naples, right? What did Nerissa say? First, the person who came as a suitor to try his luck is the Neapolitan prince, right? The prince from Naples, country, okay, Naples, right? Which is adjoining, right? Italy, okay. The people living in Naples, they are called Neapolitan, right? Just like we live in India, so we are called, okay, Indians, right? So likewise, the people living in, right, Naples, they are called Neapolitan, okay. They are called Neapolitans, right? So the first, person right now here, right, narration names is, right, Neapolitan prince. Now what did Portia say? Portia says A means yes, right? That's a colt indeed. And she says, he is like a young horse. Colt means the baby of a horse is called colt, right? He is like a young horse. Who? Neapolitan prince. Portia says that, right? The Neapolitan prince is like a young horse. How see? For he thought nothing but talk of his horse, because he talks nothing, right? Then, right? He talks only of horse, right? My horse is this, my horse is that, my horse is this, my horse is that. He keeps on talking about his own horse, right? Okay, and he makes it a great appropriation of his own good parts that he can sue himself, right? And Neapolitan prince talks so high, right, regarding his horse, saying that he can even sue the horse, right? He tells, okay, what is, okay, suing the horse, right? You know that, right? The horses have shoes, right? The U shape is an iron that is nailed, right? That is fixed at the foot of the hoof of the horse, right? You have seen it, you seen it, clear. And here Prince Neapolitan, right, says that he can even sue it himself, right? Whereas this is not the work of a prince to do it; it is the work of a, right, servant to do it, right? That the servants will have to, or they have to, okay, fix the, right now, the shoe of the horse, right? But the prince from Naples, right now, say that since he loves, right, his horse so much, right, that he can even sue the horse. Okay, right? So see here, so what will be my condition, right, if I become a wife to him, right? He will not talk about me, he will not be concerned about me, he will not take care of me, he will not look after me, he will not take me here and there, right, for roaming, right? Because he'll only, okay, he will be only spending his time, okay, with his horse, right? Here, okay, Portia, right? So what did you understand according to the description of Portia? That Portia, right now, said, right, he is not of my choice, right? This man is not of my choice, because I know, right, he will not be able to take care of me, he will only be able to take care of his horse. Okay, that's what here Portia said, right? So the first one is rejected by Portia. Okay, then Nerissa says, then is there the countability, right? County means uh, a very rich man, you can call, right? He may be a local ruler of a place, right, where he belongs, right? He's a nobleman or a nobleman, a rich man, right? And where is he from? He is from Palatinate, right? The person who is living in Palatinate is called Palatine, right? So a nobleman has come from, right, Palatinate. Okay, clear? This is the second person here Nerissa said, right, named, right, that he is uh, a County Palatine. Right, now what did Portia say about this? Okay, Portia says, he thought nothing but frown. Right, frown means angry, disapproval on his face. When you twist your eyebrows and show uh, you are, okay, not consent, right, you're not agreeing, right, you are disapproving on that, okay, what is decided, you are angry as well, right? So you frown your face, you bring your eyebrows twisting together, right? So that sort of a man is countability. Clear? That means he has no happiness on the face. Portia says, okay, he thought nothing but frown. So he does nothing. Only, okay, he gets angry, right? As who should say, and you will not have me choose, right? And instead, okay, he would tell me that, right, you choose me. That kind of attitude he has. Okay, that he is not that he has come to choose the casket, right, and win me, but instead, okay, he would, right, show his attitude in such a way that I should choose him, right? Here, okay, Portia says, okay, he hears many tales and smiles not. And look, what sort of person is he, right? He likes to hear the funny jokes, he likes to hear the funny stories, and he doesn't smile only, right? So what kind of man is this, right? Portia says, okay, I fear he will prove the whipping philosopher when he grows old, right? And I'm afraid, right, such person, when he will become old, he will become a sad philosopher, right? Such person, right, when he is very frowning at the young age, right, and doesn't smile even after listening the funny jokes, right? So such person will grow into a sad philosopher when he will grow old, she said. Okay, then being so full of unmannerly sadness in his youth, right, he is, okay, what kind of person? He is unpleasantly supplied with, right, you can say sadness in his young time, right? So in his youth itself, he's so sad like this. Now imagine what he will be when he will grow old, right? Understand? She said, I'd rather be married to a death's head, so I would better, okay, get married to a death's head. Death's head is a skull, right? Skeleton, right? I'd better, okay, choose to get married with a skeleton, dead skull, rather than getting married with this, right? Two people, isn't it? So see, a bone in his mouth than to either of these. God defend me from these two, right? So I'd better get married with a skeleton, right? With a dead, okay, with a skull, right? So then to get married with these two people, like Neapolitan prince or Countability, right? And then she says, oh God, right, protect me, right now, from these kind of people, from these two people, right? She said to God. She worshipped God that moment. Oh God, defend me from being, okay, married with such men, right? If I get married with these two, right, my life will be finished. My life will be completely ruined, right? She says, because there won't be happiness at all. One would be only talking about a horse, his own horse, right? And if the second person, okay, chooses the right casket, right, and marries me, right, so my life will be dull, right? My life will be very boring, right? My life will be full of sadness, because he won't be happy at all, right? He's always angry, okay? So such would be my life, right? So two of the people who have come to try their luck, right, as per Nerisha's naming and description of Portia you have seen today, right? So more people are going to come in the scene, right? So I think it's better we'll take it to the next online class. I hope it is all clear, right? And together with today's up to where we have explained, let me also remind you, I had sent you, right, the extract notes of Act 1 Scene 1. Hope you got them. Please copy them, okay, in your the Merchant of Venice exercise notebook, so that you can easily remember when you read those question answers, right? They are all extracts, okay? So prepare them, right? And keep listening to more of the videos coming up, so that we can reach to a target, right? uh, till what we are given in this session. Okay, so stay safe, stay happy. Thank you very much.